Welcome to the first swiDOC webinar today. First, a few words about myself. So I'm currently at the swiDOC project, responsible for the project management for the development team, but also in contact with a lot of trustee partners within our network. And yeah, basically the bridge between the feedback from trustees and yeah, our development team to further improve our archive. So you being here is the reason from different sources. What is the idea of this exchange today and the coming exchanges? It's so that we can exchange some ideas and get some feedback from partners, from trustees, from SMEs that are using swiDOC, but also providing useful information and yeah, basically sharing compliance rules that exist in Switzerland for digital archiving. And that's the basic idea of today's webinar. So with that, let's move on to today's agenda then. So first of all, yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the regulations that exist. So what are the compliance rules for archiving? And then give an overview or two examples of how SMEs could solve this compliance rules in their enterprises. One without a certified archive and one with an archive, and basically compare a few different solution variants that exist on the market currently, and also put them into context. So how well are they really suited for the actual job of archiving, right? So yeah, and after that, I'm gonna go a little bit into a live demonstration. So quickly go through the current progress in development of our bexio integration feature that we have now finished, and also show a few other functionalities of the archive that are new. And last but not least, give an outlook about what's to come in 2023 with the swiDOC team, and also have room for some questions and discussion at the end. So if you have questions, then feel free to ask them at the end. So as a start, today I have brought a very spontaneous slide. So this is an email I received yesterday from the bexio support. The one or the other of you may also have received or noticed that the bexio system was partly not available yesterday and the day before that. So this shows us that even for big cloud providers, there always is a security risk. But imagine that that there is not such a strong development team behind a digital storage system or a digital system, then the consequences could be severe. And you can really see that it's not a topic that's just circulating around, it's affecting us directly. And nowadays it's affecting us immediately. Also, I've brought a small graphic comparing the number of phishing attacks in Switzerland between 2021 and 2022. And we can see that there has been a significant increase, almost doubling the number of phishing incidents. So that is also portraying that cybersecurity should become increasing recognition in the future, not only for big enterprises, but also for small and medium-sized enterprises, as they become victims of phishing attacks a lot of the times, because there simply is not the resources to protect themselves against such attacks. So this is just to show you quickly that when we talk about archiving, it's not only about compliance, it's also about the life source of a company itself and protecting the valuable data assets that a company has nowadays. So moving on then to the compliance rules that exist in Switzerland, let's first take a look at which documents do I even have to archive as an enterprise. So I've brought here basically the 5 types of documents that need to be archived. So on the one hand side, you have correspondences with other businesses. So that counts emails in as well as physical letters. Then you have contracts and insurance policies. You have business records, which is the case of bexio. So bexio files are mostly business records, and also personal records of your employees, income statements, payroll statements, and last but not least, we have tax records. So value-added tax documents, withholding tax documents for Switzerland. So the there we talk about the Quellsteuerdokumente and Mehrwertsteuerdokumente. So quite a lot of documents that need to be archived, not only bills and invoices. So just looking at these, you can already notice that it's not very easy to put them all together in one system, because they often exist in many different systems, in many different forms, physical, digitally, in an accounting software, somewhere on my local hard drive or in my email server. So I somehow need a way to, connect everything and have a good process for that. So what are the laws actually in Switzerland that are relevant here? So first of all, we have the Schweizer GBÜV. The long word is Geschäftsbücherverordnung, and the Schweizer Obligationsrecht. Sorry. We have the value-added tax law, Mehrwertsteuergesetz, and the NDSG coming in September this year, getting into account. And I'm not going to go into every detail of these regulations because it would be simply too much to cover. But let's say the most important aspects here for SMEs especially is they give some rules, some advices basically, how you should handle your documents. So first, you should separate your archive from your operational data. What does that mean? So if I'm using OneDrive or SharePoint for for storing my invoices or for creating contracts, for writing letters and so on, I should not use the same system as I'm using on an everyday basis. That also means I shouldn't use my accounting software to archive my documents because I'm using my accounting software every day. So second, the data I store should be unchangeable for the retention period. What does that mean? That means if I store a file locally on my computer or somewhere in a cloud or on a NAS, it doesn't really matter. The problem always is that anyone with an access to that storage can simply change or delete this file. And this not only is a very big security concern, it's also a big concern related to the tax regulations. So if I have a tax revision, I have to be able to prove that I have not changed an invoice connected to a booking up to 20 years after that invoice was issued. So next up, we have the need for an audit log for the archive. What does that mean? So if I have a physical archive, I theoretically, by law, should document every access to that archive. And if I use a digital solution, I also need to have some audit logs in place that track who is accessing my archive data and who does which changes on this data. And last but not least, with the NDSG, the topic of data deletion becomes increasingly important. So if I have some personal payment roles from my employees that I store in my OneDrive, wherever, after 10 years, I don't have any reason anymore to store these documents. So I have to be able to delete them again. So the previous practice of many SMEs was to simply use a warm storage system, so a DVD or another hardware warm system that cannot be where data cannot be deleted afterwards. So this was very efficient, you could say, but now the rules have changed. So I have to be able to delete data after a certain period of time has passed, and especially personal information that falls under this new regulation. There, it's really important that I am able to delete this data. So what solutions are there on the market? Just looking at what's available, what options do we have? So we have, I just listed a few here. So for example, we have SharePoint OneDrive, which is used very widely. We have some cloud accounting software like Bexio and Abacus. We have document management systems. We have hard drives or NAS. We have some dedicated archiving solutions like swiDOC, and then we have the physical archive. So yeah, could I archive documents with SharePoint? You could, but you shouldn't. Why shouldn't you use it? Of course, it would be very convenient to use SharePoint for archiving, but the problem here is that I have no prevention for deleting files in SharePoint, usually in the standard product. And also, it's by no means a compliant solution that is dedicated for this job for archiving. It's used for editing documents and not for archiving them. Then next up, we have bexio or other bookkeeping softwares. There I have an advantage that I already am very widely using these software tools to store invoices and bills and already have them attached to my bookings. So I think this would be the ideal place to archive my documents, but also from the perspective of an SME, I have the problem that, first of all, bexio is not an archive, so it's not designed for this job. And second of all, of course, I also have dependencies from this accounting software. So what I encounter many times, I talked to a lot of trustees so far. What I have experienced is that in the daily practical workflows, usually if you have a tax revision, then they look at the bexio system, it's not a problem. So they accept the files that you provide from bexio. But something that is mostly forgotten or often overlooked is, what if my customer wants to use another ERP system, a bigger one? So what happens to all of my documents from bexio? I could use an export function from bexio, but the problem then again is that I don't have the right deletion dates configured and I don't get it in a structured way. Or the last alternative is I pay for 10 more years till all my files are irrelevant again, and then I simply cancel the bexio subscription, which is a significant cost increase. Next up, we have document management systems. So like DocuWare and CanDocs, many bookkeeping many accounting softwares partner up with DMS systems, but there you have the problem that it offers functionality that often is not even used by small enterprises. And also it's very, very expensive. So usually we have starting packages starting at 150 to 200 francs for document management systems. And I think I don't have to rephrase that this is simply too much for a small enterprise just for the archiving system to handle. Then we would have a local hard drive system or NAS. So could be a nice solution, right? I don't have to pay expensive hardware. It's integrated, but again, here I have no integration in external tools, so I have to do a lot of uploading and deletion management manually. And of course, here, because it's a local solution, usually I have to be very wary of security issues that may come up. But it could be a good factor for small enterprise. I'm going to come back later to that. And last, from the digital solution, we have a dedicated archiving solution. So the advantage here is that we have integrations in accounting software. The fees are relatively low compared to DMS systems. And also we have easy setup, guaranteed compliance, and also a deletion management in place, especially looking at the new NDSG coming in September. But of course, on the con side, it's additional costs for the companies just for archiving the documents. And last but not least, we have the physical archive, which is generally still widely used and accepted. I think you shouldn't hate on the physical archive because, yeah, I mean, it's still a relatively secure way, but here, what's also often forgotten is that the handling costs for the physical documents is high. If I have a text revision, finding the documents can be very time intensive. And yeah, I think also it is outdated looking at the digital progress we have nowadays. So now moving on, what could be a solution variant? If I have a very small enterprise, how could I solve the physical archive? And to give a little bit of a better picture how this could look, I took the document from before and distributed them among several solutions. So what you can see here is a very basic architecture division, if you want so, where you could store all the documents that you have in different systems. So at the top left, we have the physical archive responsible for storing the business records as an original. So all the bills I get, I scan them, I put them in my folder, I put them in the wardrobe or in the basement, and then it's done, right? So same is for the other documents types. And then I have the hard drive, NAS or SharePoint, where also I can store some of these files digitally as a backup in case anything happens to my physical archive. And also, I think it's very useful for accessing these documents faster and quicker. So there is definitely a reason why this is here, and it's widely also okay, I would say. And then we have some accounting software where we store the business records, but here you should be careful. If you use an accounting software, storing the originals is always recommended because the accounting software is not built for archiving. And yeah, if I have some email archiving tool in place, this could be used for storing my correspondences. So this could be a solution. I think it's not bad, but you should keep a few things in mind. So first of all, regular backups of the hard drive or the NAS that you are using is recommended. And also you should think about the manual work that goes into the handling of the physical documents in your physical archive. If it's neglectable, then fine. Physical archive is perfectly good solution. Also, I have to be careful that not everyone can just access my physical archive. So maybe put it in a room or a place where it's secure. Then next, if I have some audit log functionality for a hard drive or the NAS, I should activate it to see who is accessing my data, who is doing what on my storage. And if I have the availability, then I should archive the documents as a PDF so that nothing gets changed accidentally. And yeah, as I said before, in the storage, I should separate the archive from my operational data. And last but not least, with the new data protection governance coming in September, I should also make sure that personal information is deleted after the storage duration is over. Now, what could be an alternative? I have shown it here. So with this alternative, if you use a certified solution like swiDOC, you have several advantages. First of all, you really don't need your physical archive anymore. So you can store your scanned business records, you can store your contracts, insurance policies, tax records, personal records, and even correspondences, everything in your digital archive. And there it is stored and it cannot be deleted, it cannot be changed. You have it secure there. And another advantage is that you can easily interact with your trustee or get a tax revisor view access to your archive if you want that. So there is no need to be on site for a tax revision anymore. You can simply add your revisor to your archive and he can search for invoices, for bills, however he pleases. This does not mean that accounting software and storage systems should be replaced entirely. Of course, I still need to do my daily business on these systems, writing emails, creating Excel sheets, I don't know, writing contracts. So for that, SharePoint, NAS is completely fine. And also for my accounting, I should use a software that is designed to do that. And then just have documents synchronized between these different systems. So maybe the one or the other, I know that the one or the other has already heard about this motion, the 2022, making accounting easier motion in the Swiss Nationalrat. So last year, there was a unanimous decision for this motion, but it was denied by the Städterat last year. So also, if you look at the source from Expert Swiss from the report last year, you can also read in there that the original law requirements from the GBIF from 2002, they are still active and still relevant. So they are not removed or anything. So what does that mean for enterprises? It means I still have to archive my documents physically if I'm not using a digital archive. So yeah, that argument is often forgotten, that it simply has been denied. So now enough of presentation for a short second. I want to give a short overview about some of the functionalities that are new within the swiDOC system now. So I hope that you see my screen now. Quickly changing to English here, switching to English. So yeah, most of you may already have seen the archive itself. So what do we have here? We can switch between different clients as a trustee, or yeah, here we have different organizations. So let's say here I have my customer, and now I want to get my files from bexio. I simply go down here, and I can now set up the connection to be able to synchronize files from bexio. So now I get redirected to the login page. So I'm logging in as a trustee now, but it could also be an account from an enterprise. And now I simply select which organization I want to synchronize files for. So here I use the test AG. Okay, give access for that. And now the connection is successfully set up. So I can now select a path. So I just create a folder that's named bexio now. I select this as my destination path. And now if I move on here, I can now select the year that I want to fetch the files for. I click here, and all the working list is fetched from bexio. So here I get all my invoices, all my bill attachments, my expense attachments, and also all my manual entries. So I can select all of them at once, confirm an archive. And now what happens is all these documents are fetched and stored with the right deletion dates. So if I go in here now and see that this folder was created, you can see the different document types. And if I go further inside, I can see all the files itself. And also if I want to search for a specific entry, for example, I can now simply type in the name of a manual entry, or alternatively, I could type in the date of a manual booking. And now I would get all the files that are connected to this booking from bexio and could access them immediately. So this is the new functionality that we have from the bexio integration, and it allows to get a part of the documents that you need to archive very quickly from bexio. Then next up, we have a new drag and drop feature. So if I just select a file from my browser or folder, I can simply drop it somewhere in my browser here. So now if I drop it here to the legal folder, I can see all the files that were inside. And if I archive them, then I can confirm this. And now these documents are stored there with the exact same folder structure as on my local hard drive. So this enables me to interact with my clients, or as a trustee, I can just archive all creditors' bills for 1 year from my local file system or a NAS, wherever, for a certain year. And now if I go here, I can see that all the files have been archived correctly. As a trustee, often, onboarding new clients is a big pain. So what we have developed newly is this possibility to create own templates. So I can now create a new folder template, and now let's say I just call this 1 and another folder 2. Okay. Okay. So whenever I want to set up a new connection for a new client, here I can simply activate this option here, and now I can use my own folder template that now is automatically created in this new organization. So I can have the same folder structure for each customer I have, and this way the structure is way simplified. So this may take a second. Now we can see that this folder structure is automatically created for this new organization. So that was it from the new feature side. So let's see what is the outlook for this year. So give me one more second. So yeah, many times the question is, what is the added value for small enterprises? It's not. It's only cost factor in archive. No, it's not. The big advantage is if you use such a solution, that you can throw your physical bills or all other physical bills away, because you have a guarantee that the files will not be deleted or cannot be changed. Also, when you exchange documents with your trustee, a lot of the times you still send them physically, and this way you can save yourself and your trustee a lot of time and cost exchanging these documents still. Also, if you are handling very sensitive information, let's say you have someone passing away and passing the company onto some children, and you have some important law documents that you need to store forever, then you can store these documents in swiDOC and they can never be deleted. And yeah, last but not least, I can be sure that I'm compliant and I don't have to worry about getting fined because I am not following the regulations. So what's there to come 2023? So in the first quarter, we have successfully passed the GBIF certification. We have released a new open API for our software. We created this trustee offering where you can manage multiple clients at once. We developed the search feature that you saw. We developed the folder upload functionality. In the second quarter, now we're getting to the end. We have finished the bexio integration, drag and drop features, the functionality of default folders, as well as a OneDrive integration, where you can mirror your OneDrive structure. And now currently we're working on an email archiving tool so that you can configure an email where you just forward some specific emails that you receive. And these emails are then automatically archived with the correct archive duration. And also in Q2, we have released a new package for trustees, which is the starter package for 99 francs, which was not available before. So now what's to come in this third and fourth quarter this year? We will focus on the bexio marketplace release, which is officially on the 4th of July. And also we want to further improve the functionalities to be able to give some granular folder permissions and also full text search feature. And then really we want to go towards other integration providers, other accounting software providers like Profix, Atlanto, PB, to make the user base bigger, and also host a meet and greet for our partners here in Kreuzlingen to discuss about the challenges they have and also the experience they have with using swiDOC as a tool itself. And then for the last quarter also, we want to work on the scalability so to make the performance better of the software, especially for bigger enterprises that have a bigger number of files. So yeah, looking at the pricing, now you can see that we have added this starter package, which is new. And it basically enables you to have a low entry barrier for a trustee to try out this archiving tool to manage digital archive for their clients for a relatively low price. And yeah, you can create as many users as you want with this package. And yeah, it's not such a big financial risk in the end. So with that, we're already through with our, at least I'm through with my content for today. So I'd like to invite you to post some questions if you have some. And I will be happy to answer them as well as I can.